use you now that you've been on the cover of magazines and things as your character? Do people think you are your character when they see you in real life?
I think there's a little bit of people wanting all of us on Mad Men to sort of behave as we do on the show. There's a sort of fantasy because of the style of everything, and especially because we're a period show, it sort of takes you out of present reality a little bit. So I do get a lot of comments of like, well, you're not mean at all. I'm like, thank you. I think that probably happens to everyone on a show. People assume that you're very, very similar to your character, and I think that's just, if you're doing your job, you want to convince people that that's who you are for the day. So I guess it's a compliment.
People are comforted if they know that the character they're watching is somewhat close to them.
Yeah, I've experienced the that like people don't like that I'm not much like Cameron. They're like, oh.
Total disappointment, right?
Yeah.
Why though?
Well, I can't answer that question for people. I think Bryan's probably right in that there is some comfort in it. But yeah, I've it's funny, someone wrote this little thing that they had to stop following me on Twitter because I wasn't like my character. They couldn't, it was ruining the show for them. It's hilarious. Somebody forwarded me this little link that said this and just got a real kick out of it. And it is an interesting thing to think about. It's like...
Well, it is. I mean, with Twitter and Facebook and all these things, there used to be a little bit of mystery, I guess. You were someone on TV, and then you went and you had your life, and you could sort of dictate and manage how you were sort of out in public. And now it's just like everything's out there, no matter what. You can't hide, and I think there is. I think it does affect if you know so much about someone's personal life. If you're watching them on a show, it's going to, it's like in court. You can't strike it once you've heard it. It's in your head, So I think it probably does affect people.
Well, Chris, how is that for you? Because so much of your character comes from who you are. They wrote the part for you, and you told the story about the Defying Gravity thing, Defying Gravity, and how you just looked one day and it showed up in a script. How is that for you when so much of that character comes from your actual life?
It makes it even harder to convince people that you're not the character when knowing that story. I was actually attached to the project before the character was even written. But it is extremely hard, and what's even harder is because of the technology nowadays. They have like accounts for our characters, and then we have our accounts like as people. So like people will come up to you and say, "Oh, your tweet was so funny about Marc Jacobs," and you go, "Oh, that wasn't me. That was Kurt Hummel. That was through Fox, not me." But it's especially hard with teens because that's our audience, and they always try to find any way possible to relate to you, and if they try to make the character real through you. And it also kind of is upsetting because if you do anything like stupid, because there's TMZ and all that crap nowadays, then it takes the credibility away from the character.
What'd you do that was stupid?
Oh gosh, I don't know. No, I don't know. Maybe I was dancing or something. I don't know, on a table. I don't know, something. No, I haven't done anything.
I was going to say, I don't. You're not the Snooki of your friends.
No.
People get really upset when they realize that Kyle Chandler and I aren't really married in real life. Or more specifically, they get really mad at my boyfriend. Yeah, they're like, huh? It's really,
it's interesting.
they don't want